We do Facebook Live videos on a decently regular basis. We try to have them at least once a week or every other week, where we get on and we begin to interpret dreams, and we just talk to people about whatever it is that's going on. It's always fun, and whenever we're interpreting dreams, we have a question that comes up almost every time. How do I know if a dream is from God? One of the biggest questions that we have. So let's talk about that. How do you know whether or not a dream is from God or not from God? One of the principles that we teach in the Understanding Dreams and Visions course is that whether a dream has color or is in black and white will give you a major clue. God is light, and He's full of light, and He's full of color. And so dreams that are from God are generally going to be full of light and full of color. The enemy is darkness, and so dreams that come from the enemy are generally going to be dark. They could be at night, very dim lighting, or they could be black and white, muted tones. And those dreams that just come out of our own soul, because sometimes we actually can cause ourselves to dream, like Jeremiah was told by God that there were some people, they were causing themselves to dream dreams. Those types of dreams, they'll generally have color, but it's not going to be bright light. It's not going to be bright color. It's not going to be vibrant color. It's going to be a dull color, not a lot of vibrancy. And so by looking at the level of color, that is one of the major keys to know whether a dream is from God or not. Dream from God will generally be full of bright color, the vibrancy. Now, I'll give you an exception, and I've seen this 2 times, and I've interpreted thousands and thousands and thousands of dreams. I don't know how many I've interpreted, but multiple thousands of dreams, and I've only seen this 2 times, where someone had a black and white dream, and it was actually a dream from God. The context of the dream had a lot to do with it, but here was one other clue that we recognized. It wasn't a dull black and white like you're watching a black and white movie. It was a very vibrant, very clear whites, very deep blacks. There was color, there's just a rich color. It was just blacks and whites. And so what that dream was talking about was this was a black and white issue. So there is an exception to that rule, but it's a good general rule. Here's another principle to tell whether or not it was from God or not from God. What's the feeling that's left after that dream? Do you have the sense of God's presence? Do you have the sense that God said something? Do you have the intrigue? Now, let me be very careful with this one, because just because you don't have that intrigue and you don't have that sense that it's from God's presence is not a sure sign that it's not from God. But if you do have it, it can be a sign that it is from God. I've had so many dreams that when I woke up, I thought, oh, that was just interesting. I should write that down. That would make a great movie script. But it didn't seem to make any sense, and I didn't feel specifically that it was from God. But I've learned that you need to write those dreams down, whether or not you have that immediate sense or not. And then afterwards, when I was going through that dream, talking about it with some friends, I found out, that dream actually was from God. And it was so clear, talking about a season in my life, or talking about a season that I was coming into, that I was going to have to deal with a particular situation. I need to know a certain principle that was going to help me. So does it have that immediate sense that it's from God? If it does, it probably is. But if it doesn't, there's still a lot of other things to look at. Does it violate scriptural principle? No word from God will ever violate the word from God. So if you have a dream and it's telling you to do something the Bible tells you not to do, 1, you either don't understand the dream, or 2, the dream is not from God. So you could have a dream and the dream says that you need to go kill so-and-so. Now, you would think immediately, wait a second, that's not from God. The Bible says do not murder. But it could be saying that you need to cut off relationship with so-and-so. Someone might be a bad influence, or there might be some other reason why God would have you cut off that relationship. So it could just be a metaphor, and you need to understand it better. That is another clue. Does it fit in with the other things that God is doing in your life? If you have been going down a certain path, revelation is guiding you down that path, where God has been leading you, the community that you're in, other mature believers that you're walking with are all in agreement that that's the path that you're going down to, and then you have a dream that goes way off in left field, generally you need to take a lot of discernment before you decide that that dream is from God. Now, it might be from God, but it's probably not for the season that you're in. Because when God talks in the context of a conversation. And so if he says something that doesn't fit into the context, it's because that conversation hasn't started yet. That's when you hold on to it and you wait until another season and then come back to it. I've found again and again dreams that I had that didn't make sense to me in one season, that when I got into another season, usually because God directed me to make a decision or to say yes, take on a responsibility. And when I did that, all of a sudden it opened up and I had understanding of dreams from the previous season that were talking about the season that I was in then. So hold on to those things, but take a look. If God's speaking and talking, telling you to do something, it's probably going to fit within the context that you're in. What's your sense of peace about the dream? That sense of discernment. Is this something that I need to pay attention to? I don't have an immediate sense of the presence of the Lord or the importance of it, but when I pray about it, I feel this settledness that this really is from God. Now, all of those things are clues. But the beautiful thing about God is he doesn't give us hard and fast rules and laws that tell us that it's him and not him every single time. It's about relationship. The clearest and the best way to know whether or not it's from God is stay close to him, have a deep relationship with him, and he will make it clear when a dream is from him. Make it all about him, and you won't miss it.